to God, Grace, and Ghana. Today we're going to talk about liquidation or the things you need to do in order to move away from America or wherever you're coming from to Africa, and again, wherever your destination is, but in our case, Ghana. All right. Now, as you know, those of you that have been tuning in to our journey, we are leaving Houston, Texas, and going to Accra, Ghana. We're actually a Bree up in the mountains, and this is not a typical move. Whereas you call the three-man movers and pods or something like that, you load up everything, after you sell your house or move out your apartment, and you go somewhere else. In our case, we have to liquidate everything. Okay, well, I shouldn't say have to, but we are. So that's a good place to start. Let's start with your things. Well, I should start with selling the house, but since I said that, I'm gonna start with the things, and that's a cargo container. You can get a cargo container, a 20-foot container, anywhere from, and this is U.S. prices here, $2,000 to $5,000, depending on how many people is going to share that container with you. The big steel boxes you see on trucks and whatnot. By sea. If you're going to try to go by air, it is very expensive. What I mean by that, me and my wife looked into using crates, wood crates, 3 wood crates, 3 foot by 3 foot square, 3 of them, 3 foot, all the way around. What it cost us $5,500 to ship. Now, that's not very many things you're gonna get in 3 crates for that price. The container is actually cheaper, and you get more things in the container than you get the crates. Air, anything in the air is expensive. Air freights. The containers are gonna go in by ship. Therefore, that's why you're looking at a lot longer to get there.
And a lot more expensive. Because to pay on this end and you have to pay on the other end. You don't know what the cost is on the other end.
Yes, I was gonna get to that, but since my wife went there, the reason we didn't want to go with containers, like I said, it's cheaper for the container, but the hidden cost is on the other side. When you get to customs and whatever you're going, in this case Ghana, I looked and saw what the custom charges was. It's like 3 different expenses or charges you're gonna get when you get on the other side or to the port, to pick up your container. One is a certain kind of tax, I forget what kind of tax, and they have some kind of custom import fee or whatever. And again, I'm not going to go into the names of these fees, taxes and fees, but I do know the bottom line. The bottom line is, they said, how would I say this? Google says it's an average of 30% of whatever you ship in the value is what you're going to pay to get it out. So we do have some friends of friends who actually went to Africa, and they had like $80,000 worth of stuff. It would have cost them $25,000 to get it out. That's a little bit less than that 33%, but it's still around the ballpark. In other words, let's say you want to ship a car over there, and the car's worth $30,000. To ship the car over there is going to cost you between $6,000 and $8,000 to ship it over there, and then when you get to the port, you got to pay another $10,000 to get the car out, because that's 33%. So now it costs you $18,000 for a $30,000 car.
You can get you a brand new car.
You might as well get a brand new car, at that rate. Now it's up to you. That's what I said. You don't have to do it. I don't think it's beneficial, but that's my opinion. But if you want to ship, you can use shipping, and you can use containers and things of that nature. My advice is, if you're going to leave and the United States or wherever, and you're going not locally, but you're going to another country, I think you should do what we're doing and liquidate all of your stuff. Now, that being said, now let me back up. And I said I'm going to start with the house. Why? I'm going to start with the biggest to the smallest. The house. You have to liquidate the house, which means if you are a homeowner, you need to sell it. Now, this is when it comes up to you. What is the best tactic to do this? What do I mean? You don't know if you're going to sell your house and you put it on the market and you're going to sell it in a week, or you're going to put it on the market and it's gonna take a year. Well, in this economy, I'm gonna tell you right now, as I make this video today, it's gonna probably take you a while. My advice is to put it up a year in advance of when you actually, that date you're gonna move. Now, that being said, you got to have a backup plan. What if it does sell in a month? You got to be prepared to live in an apartment or have some friends or relatives that you can stay with. So you need to discuss that, before you even put the house on the market, and make sure you got all your ends meeting.
All your ducks lined up.
Yeah, your ducks lined up, so you can make a smooth transition to the next phase. Now, go ahead.
If anybody would have told us that it would be so hard to sell the house, because we never thought that it would be this hard to sell our home. But yeah, this economy sucks right now.
Well, at the time we bought this house, the interest rate was 3 point something, 3.3. Then I refinanced and got it to like a 2.7. I believe the interest rate, even though it's better now, at one time it was like a 7. I think a 6 something at the time, or hovering around 6, maybe 5.9, 6.1, somewhere around that range, which is, I guess, not so bad, but compared to what it was, not so good. Then we got this war going on. You got uncertainty in a lot of people's mind with Donald Trump and his administration. Yes, it's been quite difficult to make a sale on a home. That being said, yeah, you need to put it up. Obviously, you want to get money for your house. You don't want to leave it behind. Yeah, you need to put it on the market. You need to be mindful about what price you put it at because of the times we're living in. In other words, if you want to move, you're probably gonna have to take a little bit less than what you think is worth because, again, I believe that the buyer has more of an advantage than you do. It's just my opinion from what I've experienced. And also, you're gonna run out of time. I mean, you got a time. Of course, you don't tell them that, but yeah, you got a time limit. You got a certain time. I assume that you're gonna leave and fly out and go to your new home. So yes, all that being said, let's be very mindful of all those things. Next big thing is gonna be your vehicle. Now, these are like bookends. The house is gonna be one of the first things you want to put on the market for sale, probably a year before your departure date. The car is gonna be, our cars in our case, gonna be the last thing you put up for sale, probably a week before your departure date. Yeah, a week before the departure date. The reason I say that, my wife said, well, she's worried about the car. I said, I can sell a car in a day. And the reason I say that is we have the benefit of online nowadays. You know exactly what the car's worth. You know exactly, what offers you should entertain because you can go on there and they pretty much tell you that. A lot of sites online. And then, not only that, you can sell the car online. You got Carvana. You got these other places, and once you go on there, and you'll see, and you put your car in, you try to sell it and all this, and then what's going to happen is a lot of places are going to start calling and contacting you once you start Googling that you're selling your car. And, I know this from experience because I just sold one, or whatever, not too long ago, and what happened was I Googled, first I found out the value of my vehicle, and then I Googled a couple of places, that are interested in selling it for, I know exactly what price I'm looking for because they'll tell you what it's worth. And then I had all kind of calls. Well, I took the highest offer. It took me 2 days to sell a car. One, basically driving around to places that had the highest offer. Let's say it had 6 people. I drove to 3 of the places and they had the highest offer and took them in there. And then they look at it and then they'll either up the offer or go down depending on the condition of the vehicle. They're going to ask you what condition, how many miles, they're going to look at it. And then you either accept it or reject it. You reject it, drive to the next dealership. Accept it or reject it, drive to the next dealership. Then we got to the dealership, they pretty much paid the same thing they offered me. I believe they cut the check the next day. Then I had to drive back. They made the offer. I believe I had to drive back the next day. They gave me the check, gave me the vehicle. It was that fast. So I'm not worried about selling the car. I guess my wife haven't done it. I'm not worried about selling the car because, again, it's kind of hard to hide vehicle values nowadays with the internet. Okay, so we got the house and the car. Now let's move on to your things. First thing we try to do, in other words, you got to clean out the house. Again, it's not like moving your furniture to another apartment where you ain't got to sell everything. In this case, you got to liquidate everything. You got to sell it. So that means an estate sale. First thing we tried was Facebook Marketplace or something like that. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Not saying it's bad or good. I don't think it was very effective.
We sold a few items on there though.
You think so? Okay. To me, the most effective thing that we did, which was almost in one day again, was the estate sale. Well, the second one, yeah, the first one didn't do well. The second one did excellent. That's putting out signs. That's putting it in your neighborhood newsletter if you have one. That's putting little things. I think you advertise on Facebook too. You didn't?
No, I put it on. No, I didn't even do that. I was gonna do Nextdoor. Those that are familiar with Nextdoor, it's a neighborhood site where you can post things. But I didn't even do that.
Yeah, I mean, basically it was just people around the neighborhood, the neighbors and stuff that saw the sign.
I'm sorry, I did.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I did do the Nextdoor.
I know you did next door, but you didn't do anything else like.
No,
Facebook,
I didn't do Facebook or anything like that.
Okay, yeah.
But I did do Nextdoor.
So, people came and they bought almost everything in one sitting. Maybe that was just good fortune for us. Just like it seemed like selling the house is bad fortune, but that was very good fortune on that respect. Matter of fact, the furniture we sitting on is sold. It's just
they're willing to wait till we move.
We moved to pick it up. So yes, that's very fortunate of us as well. So, so estate sale. You got the house, car, estate sale. You got to sell all your stuff out. Now, that's not when I say all, that's not the clothes that you want to take. That's not the personal items that you want to take. The pictures, your marriage license, anything that's special to you. Of course, you taking that. You're taking that out and you put it in the to-go pile, the go-with-me pile, going on your luggage, your suitcase. Or the last thing I'm talking about, again, is your boxes. Since the crates were so expensive, because they're going to be air freight, the wooden crates, I told you $5,500. Since the containers are you're going to get pillaged on the other side by the port. Customs. All right, so we don't do that. We down to the very last thing, regular shipping in boxes. So we're gonna have some things in boxes. We're gonna tape them up really good. Probably have duct tape all around the thing, and we're gonna put as much as we can in there and ship it FedEx, UPS, something, or just regular old shipping to the addresses that we're gonna have on the other side in Ghana. We have not decided whether we're going to try to ship it straight to the house yet or to our building company, I should say, or the people that are helping us with the construction. Most likely to the house if need be. But that is the method we have decided to do. You can also take as much as you can in your your luggage that it's not going to be the carry-on on the plane, but the luggage that you check in, your check-in luggage. All right, I know somebody that left, they had, and they just paid for each extra bag. And we've seen somebody on TV and they had five bags a piece, all trying to avoid the shipping. They did it that way. We're not gonna go that far. I think we're gonna do 2 bags a piece. Me and my wife, and we probably do the rest again in boxes and do it FedEx, UPS, or whatever, and hope it make it there. So. That being said, all your important stuff you want with you on the plane. Stuff that you just can't do without, you can't get lost, you can't get damaged, you can't whatever. You need to take it with you on the plane. Everything else that's kind of important, but whatever, that's what you put in the UPS, FedEx, or whatever, and you ship it there. Hope it make it. I say hope it because, again, some friends of mine who did the whole container got lost. That's all their stuff was in it. Again, not the carry-on luggage, but majority of their stuff, furniture, all that stuff they were shipping. Again, it was $80,000-$90,000 worth of stuff. Gone, lost. Now, he was insured, so they got to cut him a check. So I guess you might say that's not that bad of a thing. But, sometimes you got priceless things in there, like pictures of your children and, things that can't be replaced. So You tell me, is it worth it or not? Again, things like that that needs to be with you. Priceless things, pictures of your baby pictures and birth certificates, and that need to be with you. When I say with you, personally, I feel like it should be in your carry-on, but at the very least, on the check-in luggage.
I'm good. I'm Renita.
And I'm Patrick, and this has been God, Grace, and God.